Sometimes people wonder how philosophy has anything to do with the problems and the issues of real life. What does philosophy have to do with taxes or immigration or how we treat refugees or how we treat each other every day while we drive? Well, take taxes, for example. Everything that we think about, all of the policy positions that we hold, have certain philosophical assumptions related to them. For example, the tax package that just passed the U.S. Congress and was signed by the president. So this tax package reduced taxes on corporations and on people who make a lot of money, and the idea is that what happens then is the people who own the means of production, who are job creators, now have more wealth freed up so that they can do what they want with it. And the assumption is that they will create more wealth, they'll create more jobs, and the economy will grow, and that will be better for everybody. That's based on some philosophical assumptions about who people are and our relationships with one another. A philosopher that would really be in favor of this tax program, who would say it's definitely a step in the right direction, would be the American philosopher Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand's philosophy was called objectivism because she believed that it was based on objective reality, on things as they really are. And she felt that human beings were fundamentally free, and the role of government was a very small role. That the role of government is to prevent people from doing violence to one another and to ensure that the contracts that people make with one another are enforced and kept. Other than that, the government should just keep its hands out of everything. So Ayn Rand, in fact, didn't believe that the government should take anything in taxes. She thought that taxes were theft. So this tax program that was just passed would be seen as a step in the right direction because it drastically reduced a lot of taxes, took the government back off from interfering or collecting taxes from a whole wide range of people. And Rand felt that people should work to actualize themselves, to develop themselves as much as possible, and the people who developed themselves and who worked hard and who were intelligent would be rewarded, and people who were less intelligent or worked less hard or didn't have opportunities for whatever reason, they would not be rewarded. She felt the government shouldn't take care of people that were vulnerable, that if people wanted to help out, if the people that had money wanted to help the poor, they could voluntarily do that if they wanted to, but there was no obligation whatsoever. Now, that's very different from a philosopher like Emmanuel Levinas, who would say the existence of the other, just the existence of the other, being in the presence of the other and seeing the other's face puts a responsibility on me, a responsibility to help, a responsibility to care. And if you take that fundamental responsibility and apply that philosophical idea to how should the government operate, you might come up with a system in which it was fine for the government to have significant taxes so that people who had means would pay their taxes to the government, and the government would care for those who needed extra help. That's a possible interpretation. You can look at both these kinds of philosophy, but you can see that they have an impact on the policies that happen. And if you think, well, that's just kind of what I think, or that's a philosopher's take on how it might influence policy, if you Google Ayn Rand and Paul Ryan, the present Speaker of the House of Representatives, you'll see that Ryan is actually influenced by Rand's philosophy, and that conceivably, by his own admission, played a part in this legislation, this tax legislation getting passed. So philosophy really does have an impact on our government policies and on our daily lives.